So hello everyone, I am Aditya Gupta and I shall be presenting my ELP101 project, which is a listening bug using IC741. So moving on, let's come to the introduction. In the listening bug is a miniature device which is a combination of three basic things. Number one, the receiver end, the amplifier and the speaker. Then they are small in size and can be easily hidden and also used in police investigation. They also may be wired or wireless. In this particular project, however, we shall be studying the wired ones, which have been made using the help of OMP-AMP IC741. Come to the components. There are many components. Some of the basic components are uh, two or three capacitors are required for this project. Depending upon the level of clarity we want. If we want more clarity, more number of capacitors will be required. We will have to use at least 5 resistors for this particular project or this particular device. Then comes the NPN transistor and the PNP transistors. We shall be using these two in push and pull configuration so as to amplify the input signal by 180 degree. Uh, so that the output signal is 180 degree out of phase than the input signal and also amplified. Then comes the loudspeaker so as to hear the output signal, a mic so as to receive the input signal and convert it into the electrical signals. Then comes IC741. IC741 is the most crucial part of this project. It is the most commonly used on-amp device. It consists of 8 pins and performs mathematical operations. Its three main pins are 2, 3 and 6. 2 is for inverting input, 3 is for non-inverting input and 6 is for the output input, the output pin. Moving on, this is the circuit, how it will look like. The mic R1, R2 and C1 will comprise the receiver end. The mic shall receive the signals and convert them into the electrical form. R1 will be used to control the sensitivity of the mic. R2 will be used to control the loudness of the signal. C1 will be used to control the clarity of the signal. Then moving on comes the preamplifier state, which is formed of R5, R3, R4 and this IC741. They together comprise the preamplifier state. In this state, we connect pin 2 to the receiver end. The pin 3 is connected to R3 and R4, which are used to set a reference voltage since they can be varied. Then a fourth pin is grounded and the seventh pin is connected to a constant DC supply. Also, the R5 is used to create a negative feedback system by connecting it to pin 2. And further moving on, we connect the 6th pin to the amplifier part of the circuit. The amplifier part of the circuit comprises of two transistors PNP and NPN, push which together in the push and pull configuration amplifies the input signal by 180 degree. And so that's about it. And then they are connected to a C2, which is a capacitor, in order to remove the DC component of the circuit. And this is finally connected to the speaker so that we are able to hear our audio signal. This whole connection is wired. Hence, the type of listening bug we are creating is the wired form. Moving on, I have put all the working into words as well. You can pause the video and read them for yourself if you feel like. So now comes the function. So what is the basic function of a listening bug? The listening bug is actually basically made for the surveillance, the espionage, the police investigations. It helps them gather confidential information without the other person's knowledge, which uh, which would eventually help them to track the culprit, or in fact help them in reinforcing the nation's security. Plus, it is easy to use, easily hidden, and the rest I've already defined before. So moving on, there are three main points to note in this whole project. The number one is we are using here the resistors to control the sensitivity and the loudness, and also to create a potential reference. I have forgotten to write that. Secondly, we are using the capacitors to control the clarity of the signal. So the more number of capacitors we introduce, the better the clarity. Thirdly, if the speaker is producing a hissing sound, your input signal is not pure DC. In that case, we would have to either use a battery for the DC supply, or we would have to use a capacitor to smoothen the initial DC power supply. Thank you everyone. This project was presented by Aditya Gupta 2021CS10554. Thanks.